Well, as I always say, Mondays are usually the most boring day starting the week. But today's Mondays is going to be fun and exciting. Now, as I mentioned time and time again, we're going to catch up with the Yoshi promotions that we missed out all the way between May and June. So today, we're going to be doing reviews from two events by Marvelous. So these events took place, of course, in June, one in Aichi and the other one in Shinkiba first ring. And one of them features, of course, the tag team titles on the line. So that's going to be a very interesting to review. And then, of course, as always, we'll be, of course, doing some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestling Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestling Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Nike Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on a like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the jibber jabbers. Let's get started to business. So, as I said, we're going to catch up with all of the Yoshi Wrestling events that happened from May to June all the way to now. So we're going to focus on two events by Marvelous in the month of June. So let's get started with one of them. Okay, folks, so let's get started. So, we're going to be doing Marvelous, and this event happened on the 21st of June in Aichi. Nothing too special. The only thing is, we do have a championship match, but this is not one of their specific titles. This is from one of their partners with West Coast Pro, so we'll get to that. Our first match, we have Sora Ayame teaming up with Itsuki Aoki. They take on Amira and AI Housen. So anything in this match you probably can guess. Now, of course, I mentioned Sora Ayame, who is in fact a rookie. So basically, you would think in the back of your heads when you hear that name, you think, okay, she's the Wickens Link. Now, we have seen Sora Ayame try to, of course, step up her game time and time again, and she has shown promising. Now, despite the fact she hasn't picked up a big win just yet, but she has shown very impressive moments. But unfortunately, Ayame ended up being taken out by Housen when she put her in a Spanish suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. It was, of course, Amira and Ehrhausen that picked up the win. Now, our next match is our only men's exhibition match, which is a tag team. We have Robert Martyr and Ito Yusaku. They take on Ryan Clancy and, of course, the franchise Titus Alexander. Now, of course, I'm not too familiarized with Ito Yusaku, but I am familiarized with, of course, everybody else. But the match itself was okay for the very beginning, and everything turned out great. Now, of course, I thought in the back of my mind that Titus Alexander might have been healed, but nope, he's still the same guy that we've been seeing. But what's impressive is both Clancy and Alexander were able to take out Robert Martyr when they did a double drop kick on him, and just like that, uh, it was Clancy who picked up the win because he was a legal man onto Martyr, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is a very interesting, unique three-way match. We have Riko Kawahara versus Maria versus Takumi Itoha. Now, of course, many of you may question, why do I think that? Obviously, because A, you got Riko Kawahara and Maria together. They are a tag team known as Magenta. Now, of course, it's obviously in this case, it's a 2-on-1 scenario because Riko and Maria are tag team, and they will do that in their favor. And that's exactly what they tried to do throughout the match. However, what was interesting, they put Takumi Itoha in the back of a truck and lock her up while the referee was counting out. But luckily, of course, she was released and made it just in time on the 19th count. Now remember, in Japan, they don't go by the 10 count, they go by 20. And she made it just in time when they reached 19. So one more count, it would have been over. But nope, it wasn't. So it ended right there for her. But however, things didn't go according to plan by both Maria and Riko, because Takumi Itoha was able to pick up the victory when she pinned both of them. Well, Maria was flat down on the ground while Riko was really on top of her on her stomach, and it was Takumi who picked up the win because she was on top of both of them. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then of course we did see Riko and Maria arguing like sisters, like, it's all your fault, that sort of thing, but I thought it was impressive. Now, we did see Mia Momono do a promo. This is, of course, before everything went to intermission. This is around the time when people were wondering when she'll be back, because as you all know, she was out on injury for a while. But it's great that now that she's back. Now, our main event is for the West Coast Pro Women's Championship. We have our challenger, Senka Akatsuki, taking on Johnny Robbie. Now, of course, some of you may question, those who already know, Senka Akatsuki is in fact a rookie. Why would she get an opportunity? I mean, look, we've seen a lot of promising wrestlers as rookies. It doesn't matter in what promotion, but in some promotions, we've seen they have some great promising. But, of course, like any other match, it was going to be the champion in this match that was going to walk out. Johnny Robbie was able to apply a double knee stomp onto Akatsuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she retained the championship. So, that's pretty much what happened on the 21st of June. So, let's move on to the next show of Marvelous, and I think this one's going to be in Shinkiba First Ring. Okay, as we continue with more of Marvelous, we're going to be doing the one in Shinkiba First Ring on the 27th of June. Now, we did, of course, there was this thing they do once in a while. They introduced a brand new trainee. Now, I don't remember her name. I cannot recall if her name was mentioned on a previous news updates, because there was a lot of things I had to cover in my channel to do this for all of you guys. But yeah, so she did her little, what people call the protest. Not protest that we go on picket lines and all that. This one is pro test. It's a pro dash test. So this is more like the exam when they're doing squats, certain type of maneuvers, and not to mention in exhibition match. So nothing too fancy, but it seems like she was getting everything done. I cannot recall the name at all because I don't understand Japanese, but that's exactly what happened in the beginning of the entirety of the start of the show. So that's how it happened. So I apologize if I didn't know about this, and I cannot recall if I did mention her name in any news updates or anything. If anybody does know something, please leave me a comment down below for that one. Now, our first match is a three-way match. We have Amira versus Eihausen versus Johnny Robbie. Now, of course, anything could have happened on this particular match. I mean, when it comes to three ways, we all know perfectly well that, three ways are very predictable because we don't know what the outcome is because we thing is one person can stop the match and all that stuff as soon as possible. But no, in the end, of course, it was Eihausen that picked up the win when she applied a crucifix on Amira, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match is basically one of two men exhibition matches. We have Ryan Clansing and Chojin Yusha G. Valiant. They take on Robert Martyr and Yumu Honda. Now, I don't know much about those guys at all, the Japanese wrestlers. I'm going to presume that they might have been freelancers, but I think Honda, he currently works with 2AW, which is Action Advance Pro Wrestling. But yeah, but the match ended with Clansing applying a submission move onto Robert Martyr, and just like that, he picked up the win. Now, our next match, we have tag team match, and we have Asuki Aoki and Shikayo Nagashima taking on Magenta, Maria and Riko Kawahara. But however, of course, Izuki Aoki and Shikayo decided they were going to make a beeline towards Magenta because, as you know, Magenta became heels during the summer, and that kind of sets it up right there for everyone. So they immediately start attacking them and all this to ensure, and of course Magenta were determined to win by any means necessary as possible. But in the end, it was of course Shikayo that was able to pick up the win on a roll up onto Maria, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, Chigusa Nagayo went in the ring to talk to the rookie. I forgot her name. I don't know exactly what they said, but I'm sure, of course, Chigusa Nagayo, who's been well recognized as a trainer and training wrestlers like the ones on her current roster, like of course, Takumi, Momomono, Maria, Rico, and a few others. So you probably can guess that's one of the main reasons that she was there. And then, of course, we see Mio Momono at the time being in the ring, and she was surprise visit by the ladies from Mighty Gold. At the time, as you all know, Mighty Gold and Marvelous were having a bit of a war. The people representing Mighty Gold was Mirai and Kizuna Tanaka. Now, of course, some of those events between Mighty Gold and Marvelous happened during the time of the Burning Desire, which I eventually decided not to review due to the fact that I was going to take forever to catch up with Mighty Gold. So I decided to skip that and move on to the Dream Star Grand Prix. So I apologize for that if anybody probably want to know about that. Now, our next match is a very interesting one. We have Titus Alexander take on Yusuke Santa Maria from Dragon Gate. Now, if you guys aren't familiarized with Yusuke Santa Maria, he's the only exotico. Basically, he's a man dressed like a woman. He's like one of those things. I've seen Yusuke Santa Maria, how he works, how he acts. And the one thing that Titus Alexander's worried is that he was worried that Santa Maria was about to do something to him, like either kiss him or try to put his little trousers on his face, however you might have think. And I'm sure he was being careful not to allow that to happen. But Titus Alexander decided to do the opposite, decided to caught Yusuke Santa Maria off guard by kissing him. And I think that was the last thing I don't think that he expected it. But it happened. So he put a German suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our main event is the AAW Tag Team belts. Sora Ayame and Senka Akatsuki are current rookies. They take on the champion, Suri, who is currently an IWGP Women's Champion, and Takumi Iroha, who is the current GHC Women's Champion. For those who may not know, Takumi Iroha defeated Kyuki Omori for this belt during a Pro Wrestling No event for the Monday Magics, which I'm not going to be able to do, so just to catch up with all of you. But the match itself was good. I mean, you can tell that the rookies did everything possible, what they learned on their training, tried to find ways to pick up the win, but unfortunately it did not happen because it was Suri who applied the Uranagi onto Akatsuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, during the post-match, there was a promo, of course. Suri was giving a bit of a respect of the rookies, how much they were able to withstand against wrestlers who are currently in advance in their level. But I'm sure that they will tell them to work hard and do their best the next time. But however, I think there was a bigger issue here. For those who don't know, Suri and Takumi Iroha did not have a name at the time. They had no idea what they were going to call themselves, from what I can tell. So it seems that they called themselves Spark Rush. So that's their new tag name. It's because this is funny, because I think Shigusa Nagayo has been asking them, what's going to be your tag name? Because, if you guys recall, Titus Alexander and Starboy Charlie had that same issue when they won the West Coast Pro Tag Team belts against Los Suavecitos in one of their events. And of course, Shigusa said, what's your tag name, guys? So she had a better idea. How about the Crush Boys? So basically, Takumi Iroha and of course Suri decided, how about Spark Rush? So it fits perfectly. So I think Shigusa was really happy with the result that they picked the name. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna form a tag team, you gotta give yourselves a tag name. So that's pretty much what happened. So that's pretty much it for our Marvelous review. So let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin as always with upcoming events. Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, with of course this is the Canadian promotion, has announced for their Sacred Ground event that will take place on the 5th of September. They announced that the Maple Leaf Canadian Championship, our current champion Josh Alexander will defend his belt against TJP. So that's going to be a very interesting match. Action Wrestling has announced for their Dean 3 event on the 6th of September with that same Maestros at 2 out of 3 Falls match. Well, they just announced the Alchemist, Hichiseto, will be participating, so that's going to be awesome. And then finally, of course, a Jersey Championship Wrestling, JCW, for their Possession event on the 26th of October. They announced the Coven of the GOAT, consistent of Jaden Newman, Tank, and the Ref Dan Wilson will be participating. I don't know who these guys are, but I'm just putting it out there. Now, finally, for our only development, this was coming from Fightful Select. Many of you maybe remember The Righteous, consistent of Vincent and Dutch. Well, it's just been reported that they're just finishing up their their indie dates. Basically, it seems that WWE are interested. It's still unclear how long they've been interested in them, but I'm sure we'll get more on that story. As you all know, they did, of course, some events with Ring of Honor and all that, and their contract expired with them. But of course, we did see them afterwards, well, I don't like to use the term jobbers, but yeah, they appeared for that. But we'll learn more about their, them being signed with WWE. So we'll put a pin on this one once I get more information on that. So as of right now, I think that's pretty much it what we had. So I believe it's time to say, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably know, we have NXT. So as you know, battle lines are going to be drawn for the upcoming pay-per-view. NXT No Mercy. As you probably know right about now, Lola Vice is the #1 contender to challenge for the NXT Women's Championship. But the real question is, are there cracks coming up in Fatal Influence? Because right now there's been screw-ups coming from their side. And of course, Obafemi is set to, of course, the face-off Ricky Starks in hopes that this is going to be a good match, and plenty other things as well. So we'll see how things will progress. Now, if there's any other events that I'm going to be reviewing, I'll be doing those too as well. But as of right now, I'll keep things as it is and making NXT as our top priority. But for now, I will say this, that I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I'm going to bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.